Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Why Steelers TJ Watt is entering Ravens wild card clash with chip on shoulder. On Saturday night, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Baltimore Ravens face off for an AFC North rivalry battle to kick off both teams' playoff journeys. And with that, Steelers star pass rusher TJ Watt had a message for the team, per Mike DeFabua on X. TJ Watt is a 4x All-Pro, 7x Pro Bowler and the 2021 DPOY, DeFabua wrote. But he's 0-3 playoff games and wants to change that. It's my story. Since I've been here, I haven't won a playoff game. I've been saying it this whole season. You guys know how important this is to me. With the Steelers and Ravens being one of the biggest rivalries in NFL history, this game has even higher stakes for Watt. In the 2024 regular season, the Steelers split their two-game series with the Ravens, with both teams earning a victory at their home stadium. The Steelers won their Week 11 matchup 18-16 at home, while they lost 34-17 on the road in Week 16. And although Watt is one of the league's top defensive players in the NFL, his focus is on beating the Ravens once more, earning the first playoff victory of his career. Since being selected with the 30th pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, Watt has been one of the best defensive players in the league. In fact, Watt won the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2021, proving his skills as an incredibly talented pass rusher. However, while he holds a handful of personal accolades, something he hasn't done in his professional football career is winning a playoff game in the NFL. During his 8 seasons with the Steelers, they're 0-3 in playoff games. His first loss was to the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017, followed by the Cleveland Browns in 2020, finishing with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2021. The Steelers also lost a playoff game to the Buffalo Bills in 2023, but Watt was inactive. So, that loss doesn't technically count towards his personal playoff record. Even if it did count, the point remains, Watt wants to win a playoff game with the Steelers. And because they're playing against the Ravens in the first round, it's even more fitting for Watt to earn his first playoff game against their biggest rivals. When many Steelers fans talk about letting Russell Wilson cook these days, they're probably talking about working at McDonald's. While it is not all on him, he does have the Steelers riding a 4-game losing streak. In those 4 games, the Steelers never topped 17 points, and were held under 200 yards twice. Not only did the Steelers struggle, but Wilson often did as well. The month of December saw some of his worst decision-making, his worst throws, his worst sacks. He reverted to some of his worst habits that encouraged the Seahawks to trade him and the Broncos to cut him. I don't think too many fans are laughing at Sean Payton for drafting Bo Nix after cutting Wilson now. Joey Porter Jr. wants to make my name in Steelers-Ravens playoff rivalry. Steelers CB Joey Porter Jr. watched his dad make his mark in the Ravens rivalry. Though that only included one of the playoff matchups, Joey Jr. was just a baby. Joey Sr. also participated in the Steelers' last playoff game against the Ravens as a member of the coaching staff. Now the younger Porter wants to make his own mark in this rivalry, the 5th game between the two teams. I remember a couple of them, Porter said of earlier Steelers-Ravens playoff games, via the team's website. I was young a little bit, but I definitely remember those back-and-forth matchups. I'm just happy to be a part of this one and, to get to make my name in this game. I'm ready to just make some plays out there. For most of them, Mike Tomlin was coaching the Steelers and John Harbaugh was coaching the Ravens. A decade on since the last one, both are still there, ready to square off for the 4th time. Needless to say, both rosters are very different, almost completely different. Cameron Hayward is the only player remaining, though former Ravens ILB Zach Orr is now their defensive coordinator. You know it's been a while, though, when you have next-generation players like Joey Porter Jr. in his 2nd season with the Steelers. The younger Porter recorded 70 tackles with 1 interception and 7 passes defensed. He was significantly more involved in the tackling aspect this year, but didn't get his hands on as many balls. This is Porter's second postseason with the Steelers, but also only the second game, since they lost their first game. The Steelers haven't won any postseason game since 2016, at which point his father was still on the coaching staff. All-time, the Steelers hold a 36-26 edge over the Ravens, including a 3-1 postseason record. The Steelers at 1.18 out of 9 games before losing their last. Joey Porter Jr. went down with an injury in that game after playing just 16 snaps, helping Zay Flowers record a 100-yard game. Now the Ravens will be without Flowers for this game, and the Steelers have a healthy Porter back. But they will still have to contend with a healthy Derrick Henry, who rushed for 162 yards last time. Historically, the Steelers have usually done at least a decent job of containing him. But he is always a threat to break off a run of any distance. Porter and the rest of the Steelers secondary knows they will be crucial in stopping the Ravens' run game. The Steelers always prioritize their defensive backs' roles and run support, but this is an all-hands-on-Derrick situation. If the Steelers do beat the Ravens, one imagines it will be partly because of Joey Porter Jr. While he has his ups and downs, particularly with penalties, he is their best coverage player. And with his neck roll packed, he is ready to contribute to the run defense, as well. Beating a heavily favored Ravens team will certainly help etch your name in the rivalry record book. Former NFL QB urges Mike Tomlin to consider leaving Pittsburgh Steelers. Former NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky believes Mike Tomlin should be opposed to a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the Chicago Bears not ruling out any action for their new head coach. Bears general manager Ryan Poles said a trade could be necessary to land their next head coach, and that could be Tomlin. Tomlin has a no-trade clause in his contract, however, and that would complicate any plans for the Bears to acquire him. Orlovsky says it should not matter, though. If he were Tomlin, he would heavily consider leaving the Steelers. Should Mike Tomlin entertain leaving the Steelers for the Bears? Sure, Orlovsky said on First Take. Because you haven't gotten me a quarterback. Now, do I think the Steelers should entertain trading Mike Tomlin? Because I've seen that, obviously, in the conversations. I think that's the dumbest thing I've heard in the NFL this season. Tomlin has not won a playoff game since 2016, and that has caused frustrations to rise. For the Steelers, they have put pressure on winning a playoff game, when team president Art Rooney too said the organization was growing tired of the postseason drought last offseason. Even with a loss to the Ravens, Tomlin is nearly guaranteed to come back after signing a new 3-year extension this summer. A trade also does not seem likely, as Tomlin is happy in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers seem happy with Tomlin coaching their team. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike Tomlin? Leave your opinion in the comments.